Okay, so everyone, welcome to Koil Kol Shira in partnership with Breslov.org, and of course Yeshiva Terah Shimon, and all the listeners around the world that listen to our class and share the classes around the world, and thank you for all the feedback. And it gives me a lot of chizuk, and it gives everyone a lot of chizuk. So this week is we're starting. It's Parshat Shemot, and we're starting Sefer Shemot. Right, it's interesting, right? Well, we do that with Bereshis also, right? And we do that with Vayikra, and we do that with Bamidbar, and we do that with Devar, right? Interesting, right? But Shemot is a very interesting Rashi Teva. And what is the Rashi Tevas for Shemos? Does anyone know? Excellent. Mamish hit the nail right on the head. Excellent, Yehuda, excellent. So I have to ask you a question though, Rabbi Yehuda. Now, if that's the case, and that is the case, why is it introduced only in Sefer? Is only introduced only in Sefer Shemais? And we didn't have this idea, the Shnayim Mikra Vecha Targum, already introduced in Bereshis.
Yeah, good question. They have the Eila stands for V'chayim Adam Lavor HaSedra. Then you have Shmoi Shnayim Mikra Vecha Targum.
Yeah, okay, excellent. So I heard. Actually, it's a word that I saw written by Rav Biederman. And he says amazing thing. He says like this: the fact that we start Bereshis right after Shmini Atzeres, right? Simchas Torah. Everyone has such a bren. They have such a desire to learn Torah. Everyone. And then the Parshas is so geschmack. And then you get to Noach. And then you get Avram Avinu. And then you get Yitzchak Avinu. So all the stories. And then Chanukah comes along. And a lot of times people get busy and they fall off. They're not keeping up with the Shnai Mikra Vecha Targum. And then they think to themselves, you know what? All right, I'll try again next year. Comes along Shemais, Shnai Mikra Vecha Targum. No, start now again. Start again right now. Right now, you can have chizuk start again today. We always know that we can always start again. And we're every day we're new people. Hamachadesh betuvay b'chol yom tamid maseh bereishis. We're new people every single day. And people always challenge me and they say to me, "What do you mean I'm a new person?" I say, "Well, listen. This morning you got up and you made brachas, right? You made brachas today, right? And you said a bracha of Shelo Yasani Goy, Shelo Yasani Ovid, Shelo Yasani Isha." So let me ask you, if you made that blessing already one time, like for example, you go to a bris milah, they make the bracha of the bris milah one time. You don't make it every day, the bracha on the bris milah, right? But you make the bracha. Why am I making this blessing every single day? Chazal tell us it's very simple, because every day you're a Bria Chadasha. Every day we come back and we're a Bria Chadasha. And that's the only explanation. Okay, I challenge anyone that doesn't believe that they're a Bria Chadasha, I challenge them of why they're making these brachas every day. And if that case, they're making a bracha levatala every single day. Many brachas levatala. That's not a good thing. Okay, so anyway, all right, that's not the point. That's not the shir today. We could talk a lot about that, but we have so many things to discuss in Parshat Shemot. And we start. The parsha starts off with ve'ela Shemais b'nei Yisrael. Ve'ela. Now that's an interesting thing. When you start off a sentence with and, we're never supposed to start off a sentence with and, but we know a vav is always there to connect. A vav is always connecting a word, connecting a topic, connecting a sefer in this case. It's connecting to Sefer Bereshis. Sefer Shemais is connected to Sefer Bereshis Chazal say that it's called the Sefer of Geula. It's called the Sefer. It's also called the Sefer Sheni. Oh, good morning, Ernie. It's also called the Sefer Sheni, the second book. The second book. So we're going to get back to why it's called the second book. But let's go through the parsha. So we start off in the parsha right away. Hashem introduces the names of the Shvatim again. He changes the order. That's another discussion, why the order was changed. But Rashi tells us that Hashem writes our names again because He loves us. And we have to remember that. HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves Klal Yisrael. We need to always remember that. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu is always doing things in order to help us. Now, we also know that these weeks are the weeks of Shovavim. Right? Shovavim, we have the weeks of Shovavim. Shovavim is the idea that was introduced by the Arizal, by the Ariya Kadesh taught us this, and brought this out. Okay, it was from the Shalah Kadesh also, right? The Shalah Kadesh, right? And before that, but the Shovavim are the weeks of Shemos, Va'era, Bo, Beshalach, Yisro, and Mishpatim. Okay, so those weeks make up the time segment of Shovavim. So what is Shovavim? Shovavim is a time to return for things that we have done and veered away from Hashem as far as impurity, things of impurity. Right? Things of impurity, we can come back to Hashem at this time right now. Why? Because again, this is the time, these are the months now of Teves and Shvat, and these are the months that are connected to Esav, and these are the months that are very, very dark and dismal. They're the shortest days of the year. It's very, very dark. It's very, very cold. It's very, very, you don't feel the varmkeit. You don't feel this. It's not there. So these are the days that are very mesugal to come back to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And tshuva is much easier to attain during these days on things of impurity than other times of the year. So that's one of the ideas of the idea of Shovavim. Okay, there's much we could talk about Shovavim also, but again, we only have an hour, so we have to do the best that we can in the time that we have. I just want to be ma'iri you to all these different beautiful ideas that are out there. All right, now, so in the parsha, what happens? So we know that the Mitzrayim, right? The Mitzrayim, they were getting worried. They were getting worried that we were multiplying too quickly, and they were worried that they would be attacked. They would be attacked by someone from the outside, and then we, the Jewish people, would be inside Mitzrayim, and we would attack them from the inside. So they would be getting attacked from the outside and the inside. Similarly to what Eretz Yisrael goes through, right? We got attacked from inside, and then we get attacked on the outside from the Hezbollah, from the Houthis, from Iran, and unbelievable. The Hamasniks, unbelievable. We have to deal with. It's unbelievable. But that's what they were worried about. Mitzrayim was worried about. So what did they do? They came up with this great idea. What was the great idea? They said that Paro decided that he needs some new cities. He needs some new place for the land. It's a very, very important project that we have to do over here in Mitzrayim. And Paro went out. He went out, and Paro was laying. He went and he was laying bricks. Paro, the king, went out to show, look, this is how important it is. I'm even going out and I'm going to lay bricks. So the Mitzrayim came and the Jews came. And whenever we go somewhere, we always try to do our best. We're overachievers, right? So we showed Paro what we can do. The Medrash says that the Paro would pay us for our work, right? If you earned, I don't know, let's say you made 100 bricks in a day. So you got paid, I don't know, maybe you got paid $1,000. I don't know what their currency was. It doesn't matter, right? So everyone was trying to do the best they could to make more money, right? The Mitzrayim were taking notes. They were taking notes. Oh, a barrel, he made 85 bricks. Oh, and this guy over here, Shimon, he made 92 bricks. Levi, oh, wow, this guy did 105. Wow. Then what they did was, Paro stopped coming, and Paro's, his ministers stopped coming, but we kept going in, and we kept being paid. We loved it, right? And we were working as hard as we could so we could make more money. Then Paro said, "Nuh-uh, no more. I'm not paying you anymore. And you're required now you're slaves, and now you're required to make the same amount of bricks." So they started working, but they weren't producing. Paro, his guys took out their notes. Hey, Levi, you know how many bricks you made? Shimon, you know how many bricks you made? How come you're not doing that now? Yeah, you understand? They were overachieving when they were getting paid, but now that they weren't getting paid, they weren't so keen on making more bricks. Okay, so Paro introduced the idea that he had taskmasters, and he had Jews that would go out. He had hired Jews in order to work to oversee the other Jews. Right? The Mitzrayim didn't want to do that. They didn't like us. So what did they do? So who were two of these guards? Dasan and Aviram. Dasan and Aviram. They were two of them. All right. Okay, so we had them. Torah goes on to say that there was Ben Levi, Amram, that took the lady. She was actually 130 years old, and he got married to her. Why? What happened? What happened? When Paro made the gezerah, that the boys that will be born, they'll have to be thrown into the Nilus, into the Nile, and any of the girls that would be born, they would be able to live. But any of the boys had to be thrown into the Nile. So Amram said to Yocheved, he said, "Listen, we better get divorced. We won't have children, because why do we want to put ourselves in such a situation?" So Miriam, their daughter, came to Amram, the father, and she said to him, "Tati, you're worse than Paroi." Wow, is that a nice thing, a daughter to tell their father? You ever think of that, Ernie? Right? The daughter tells her father, "You're worse than Paroi." Why? Paroi said, "I'm only making a gezerah on the boys, but you are making gezerah on the girls also. So you're worse than Paroi." Wow, he heard that, and he took that to heart. And he remarried Yocheved, and then we know Moshe Rabbeinu was born. Right? Moshe was born. Let me ask you a question. In the Parsha, it says that we know that all of the ladies gave birth to 6 tuplets. They all had 6 tuplets. How come Moshe Rabbeinu was born and he was only one? Does anyone have an answer?
Probably equivalent to 6 at least.
Good. Okay, that's an idea. But how about this? It said those that were involved in the Avodas Perach. So those were the ones that they would multiply in the 6. But Moshe Rabbeinu is from Levi. Levi was not in servitude. So therefore, they only had 1. But your idea is very good too. Moshe Rabbeinu was actually, we're going to see in a minute, he was actually shockled. He was actually equivalent to the 600,000 Jewish souls. We're going to get to that soon. We'll get to that soon. All right. So anyway, so what happened? So we know that Moshe Rabbeinu was born, He was born before the 7th month, just at the end of the 6th month. So therefore, they were able to hide him. They were able to hide him before the Egyptian guards came around. They knew that Yocheved was pregnant. So they were able to hide him. But then when it came towards 9 months, then they had to get rid of, they had to do something. So we know that Miriam made a little box, right? Miriam made a little teva, and she put Moshe Rabbeinu into this little teva, and she sent him off the Nile on the Nile River. And she was hiding. She was hiding to see what would happen. She wanted to see what would happen with Moshe. Then we know the famous story. Bisya, it's actually, it says her name was Bisya, but we call her Basya. She was bathing in the Nile. Some say, there's a school of thought that she was actually trying to become a Geiris, and she was actually she was actually going in the Nile River in order to go to the mikveh. Okay, whatever. Either way, she's in the water, and she sees this little basket, and she's curious. What is this little basket? What is this? So the Torah says she stretched out her arm. She stretched out her arm. And we know the miracle happened, that her arm went went very, very far, much further than any arm, and it went much further, and she was able to take the baby. Now, when she saw the basket and she saw the baby, she said, "Oh, this must be a Jewish baby." She saw the glow. We know when Moshe Rabbeinu was born, the whole house was mismale with or. It was filled with light. Moshe Rabbeinu was also born with a bris milah. Moshe Rabbeinu was special. Mom is special. So she tried to give Moshe, get a wet nurse for Moshe, but Moshe Rabbeinu, he wouldn't drink. He wouldn't drink from any of the ladies. He wouldn't drink from them. Why? Because the mouth that's going to be the mouth that's going to support the Shechina Kedosha, that mitoich groina, from Moshe Rabbeinu's throat and from his mouth is going to come the words of the Shechina. How can that baby nurse from a Egyptian lady, an impure lady, a nida, a goita? How can that be possible? So therefore, Miriam came and saw this, and she said to this Basya, she said, "You know what? I'll get you, if you want, I'll get you a lady from the Jewish people to nurse him." So she says, "Yes, I do. Go get somebody." So who did she went? She got her mother, Yocheved. She got her mother, Yocheved, was the mother of Moshe Rabbeinu. And she was able to nurse her son. Unbelievable things that happened. Unbelievable things that happened. So then we know that she convinced Paroi. She convinced Paroi that he should live in the house, and she would like to raise him. And here you see it how sometimes the enemy themselves is the one that helps you, right? Here you see it. Paroi was the enemy, right? He was the enemy. He was against Klal Yisrael. He was the enemy. And Moshe Rabbeinu is brought up in his own palace. Isn't that fascinating? That's fascinating. Not only that, we know that the Medrash says that Moshe Rabbeinu was sitting on the lap of Paroi. You believe that? He sat on the lap of Paroi. And he was playing with Paroi's crown. He was playing with his crown. He took his crown. He put the crown on his head. Wow, and all the people in the room, all the people there, all the ministers said, "Oh, you better be careful with this little baby, this boy here. This boy here is going to try to overtake you and take over the crown." So they said, well, I don't know. We know that the Malach came, and the Malach said, "No, he's just a baby. He's just a baby. He's playing with the crown. Don't make anything of that. Don't make anything of that." So they said, "Okay, let's test him." So they took a plate of gold, and they took a plate of hot burning coals that were glowing. Coal, you ever see, like, you make a barbecue and you use the charcoal, right? the coals, they actually glow. They get so hot, they get so red, they glow. And they said, okay, let's see which one he's going to take. So Moshe Rabbeinu, of course, was going to go for the gold. But that Malach came and pushed his hand and made him take the coal, made him take a piece of the coal, and he put it in his mouth, and he became a covered peh. It became difficult for him to talk, right? He had a lisp or whatever the case was. I'm not exactly sure what it means. He had a covered peh. He had some difficulty speaking. He wasn't a very good orator, right? Because of this problem. All right. So what happens? Moshe Rabbeinu goes out one day. Moshe Rabbeinu goes out of the palace one day, and he sees there's a Mitzri, an Egyptian, that's beating a Jew. Wow. He got angry. Moshe Rabbeinu got very angry. He looked, Rashi says he looked both ways. What was that? He went to see, he looked Beruach HaKodesh, is anyone ever good going to come out of this Mitzri? Is anyone good going to come out of this Mitzri? And when he saw not, he used the Shem HaMeforish, and he was able to kill the Mitzri. He didn't touch him. He didn't touch the Mitzri. He used the Shem HaMeforish, Hashem's name, and that's how he was able to get rid of the Mitzri. Fine. The next day, Dasan and Aviram, they're fighting. They're horsing around. So Moshe Rabbeinu goes over to them, says, no, what are you doing? Why are you hitting another Jew? What are you doing? They said, who made you the boss? Who made you the boss? Who made you the boss? Who made you the in charge over here? Rashi says over there, you see from that Dasan and Aviram, those are the guys that are later going to take from the mun. They're going to take the mun and they're going to leave over the mun. Rashi says that. It's a very strange thing. Why does Rashi bring in over there? Why does Rashi bring in over there about the mun? Why does Rashi? I mean, look, Dasan and Aviram were involved in a lot of terrible things, right? They were involved in a lot of terrible things. They wound up. They made such a ruckus. They made such a ruckus when they were talking. When they were talking in the street, so when there's a big commotion going on, people come over, right? They want to hear what's going on, right? There's a big commotion. People came over and they were making noise, and you were the one that killed the Mitzri yesterday, and you said some kind of name, you said something, you uttered some words, and the next thing you know, you killed the Mitzri. Then Paroi found out about that, right? It says that Paroi heard. What does it mean that Paroi heard? What does it mean he heard? He heard because they were making such a ruckus, he heard about it. But I'll tell you something very interesting. The mere fact that Dasan and Aviram, that they were challenging Moshe, if they were doing it for the right reasons, that would have been okay. That would have been okay. In other words, again, Moshe Rabbeinu is this pretty princess coming out of the palace of Paro. I mean, let's think about it. And who does he have the right to butt in to what's going on with the Yidden, with the Jews in Mitzrayim? What does he have to do with it? And again, all the different times, right? When they made the complaint, when it came to the spies, they said, okay, let's go back to Mitzrayim. We're better off to go back to Mitzrayim than to be killed out and going into Eretz Yisrael, Eretz Canaan, and we'll get wiped out by the giants. Okay? Again, that was their view. Maybe it could have been pure too. And well, we know what their demise was when Kairach, they joined with Kairach and they were swallowed in the ground. But why does Rashi bring this thing in? That they were the ones that left over the mun, that they didn't follow the rules. The rules of the mun were, when the mun fell down, in Parshat Shemot, we're going to have it in 2 weeks, right? When the mun fell down, so what happened? You took what you needed for the day, right? You took what you needed. If you needed, whatever portion you needed for your children, for your wife, for your people that were in your house, so you took that amount of mun. You didn't take more. Hashem said, don't take more. But they took more. They took more purposely. So you see from that they didn't have emunah. So they didn't have that. They didn't have their emunah. Reb Zusha has a question. Where did Moshe learn about Hashem? Where did Moshe Rabbeinu learn about Hashem? So Moshe Rabbeinu, of course, knew about Hashem because, again, we started off by saying that Yocheved, his mother had a connection with Moshe Rabbeinu, nursing him, right? And he got all the emunah, everything came in via the milk from his mother. Unbelievable. We have no idea what benefits there are when a Yiddish mother does, takes care of her children and what she does and what she does. But okay, let's go on. Let's go on now. So Moshe Rabbeinu was challenged. Moshe Rabbeinu was challenged by Paroi, right? And they want to kill him. So we know that his neck turned to a pillar of marble, and he was able to run away. He was able to run away. And where did he go? He went to Midian. Who was in Midian? Yisro. Yisro was the Kohen Midian, right? He was the Kohen of Midian. Excuse me. He came to Midian, and he saw the girls. Yisro had seven daughters. They say that Yisro also had 7 names. Right? Yisro had 7 names, right? Rashi tells us that. So as a joke, you could say like this. Yisro, each time he made a wedding for his daughter, he went bankrupt. So he had to change his name. He went bankrupt, so he changed his name. All right, that's just a joke. So what happens? Moshe Rabbeinu comes there and he sees that the other shepherds are shepherding, they're bothering the ladies, the daughters of Yisro. Some say they threw them into the water and they were very nasty to them. But Moshe Rabbeinu was dressed as a Mitzri. That's what he had. He had the Mitzri fashion. However the Mitzrim were dressed, he was dressed like them because that was the clothes that he had. He came there with those clothes. So they thought he was a Mitzri. Moshe Rabbeinu, we know, wasn't scared of anything, right? Moshe Rabbeinu, we know that the palace of Paroi was surrounded by lions. Moshe Rabbeinu wasn't scared. So he came and he saw these other people there, these other shepherds bothering them. He took care of them 1, 2, 3. It was no big deal. Then he came back to the Tzipporah and the other girls came back to the house, to Yisro. And Yisro says, "So how'd you get back so quick? What happened?" So she said, "We met this Ish Mitzri. We met this Egyptian man, and he helped us." Wow. Wasn't the way of the Egyptians really to help people. They weren't the kindest people out there. So Yisro was interested in this guy. The Medrash, there's a whole bunch of different Midrashim. There's a whole bunch of different schools of thought. Some say that Yisro wanted to see who Moshe Rabbeinu was. He threw him into a pit for 10 years. I don't know. That's what the Medrash says. I don't know. I believe it. Okay, we know the Shivim Panim LaTorah. We also know that Yisro had this stick. Yisro had this stick that he had planted into his garden. There was a stick in his garden. And he said that anybody that can remove this stick, some say it was a tree, some say it was a stick, either way, remove whatever it was, you can marry Tzipporah, right? You can marry Tzipporah. So Moshe Rabbeinu said, no problem. Many strong people they tried to pull this thing out, they couldn't do it. It didn't budge. Moshe Rabbeinu went over, he picked it right out of the ground, and Yisro gave him Tzipporah as his daughter. All right, fine. Moshe Rabbeinu, we married Tzipporah. He had 2 children, right? So we know Moshe Rabbeinu then became the shepherd for Yisro, right? He became the shepherd, right? All our forefathers, they were all shepherds, right? Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, they were all shepherds, right? And of course, Moshe Rabbeinu was a shepherd. We know that David HaMelech was a shepherd, right? All the shepherds, because we are considered the flock. The Jewish people are considered the flock. We're going to talk about that soon. All right? What does that mean? What I just said, that we're considered a flock. Okay, so then Moshe Rabbeinu leaves. He's one day he's out. One day he's out in shepherding the sheep, and he sees there's some kind of bush burning. Ve'inenu ukal. There's a bush on fire, but it's not being consumed. That's a strange thing, right? You have a thorn bush or whatever the case is, whatever the bush was, but a bush is on fire. Sooner or later, it's going to be burned down. I mean, go take a look what's going on in LA, right? I mean, I think you'd say LA all of a shalom, right? Los Angeles all of a shalom, because I don't know what's going to be left over there. There's no reprieve in sight. Okay, so I mean, when something is burning, it's burning, right? So Moshe Rabbeinu went over to this snap, and he wanted to see what it was. And Hashem said, "Shal na'alecha me'al raglecha ki admas kodesh." Right, take your shoes off because this is holy ground. This is holy. There's so much talk on that. What does it mean? This is holy ground. A yid, wherever a yid is, and he's serving Hashem, he has to know that's admas kodesh. Admas kodesh. And it's Chazal is very big on shoes, right? Chazal say if you don't have enough money for this or that, make sure you sell whatever you can and make sure you have shoes. You have shoes, right? You need to have shoes. Why? Well, we know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu cursed the Adamah, right? HaKadosh Baruch Hu cursed the Adamah, right? He cursed the earth. He cursed the dirt. So of course, you're not going to want to put your feet on the dirt. You're not going to want to put your feet on the dirt that's cursed. A kadosh doesn't go with a tummy, right? We know that from Eliezer. We know that with Eliezer, with his daughter, where Avraham Avinu said that my son is Kodesh. Your daughter, you're from the side of Tumah. So how can Kodesh be mitzvah with Tumah? It doesn't work. So therefore, we have to always wear shoes. But Hashem said this is holy land. That means the Tumah is not here, right? We know that the Tumah also wasn't in the Beis HaMikdash, right? In the Beis HaMikdash on Har HaBayis, there was no Tumah there. Why? Because the Kohanim had to walk around barefoot. They weren't allowed to wear shoes. You were not allowed to wear shoes. The Kohen had to be barefoot. That's another reason why when the Kohanim today, when they duchen, right, so they take their shoes off, right? Because again, that's an avodah from the Beis HaMikdash. The Kohanim would bless the Jewish people in the Beis HaMikdash. That was an avodah from the Beis HaMikdash. So we do that reminiscent because that's what they did. But again, think about this for a second. Moshe Rabbeinu stopped to think. Moshe Rabbeinu stopped to think. Moshe Rabbeinu stopped to see what it was. How many times do we have things that we can look into and we can gain benefit by? And we just let it go. We don't engage it. We don't take care of it. It's a very, very important thing. And that's another lesson you learn from Basia. She stretched her hand out. Even though she knew her hand, it's not going to reach all the way there. It was very far. Maybe you would say it was 100 yards away. It was far away. But she just did her part. This is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants from us. You do your part. You do whatever you can. And Hashem says, I'll do the rest. You start and I'll finish. You do and I'll finish it. That's what Basia taught us. And Moshe Rabbeinu is teaching us over here with this idea that this place is Admas Kodesh. We know that a person's house, is a Migdash Ma'at, right? A small Beis HaMikdash. And we know a Yiddish shtip, and we know that a Beis Medrash, a Beis HaKnesses, of course, is a Migdash Ma'at. Okay, these are holy places that don't have the Tumah, that are not affected by that Tumah. Okay, now Moshe Rabbeinu then meets Hashem. He's discussing with Hashem for an entire week. You hear this? He's standing by the bush, having a discussion with Hashem for 1 week that he can't go. He has a whole host of reasons why he can't go, discussing it for a week. Could you believe that? He's standing there with Hashem for an entire week. Could you imagine his wife must have been wondering where he went? What happened? He went away, right? And his father-in-law, what happened to this guy? He was gone for a week. Many things happened there. Moshe Rabbeinu said, well, they're not going to believe me. They're not going to believe me. And if they ask me, what am I going to tell them your name is? Hashem says, Ekia, She'ekia. Ekia 3 times. Right? He tells it 3 times. It's Shem Ekia. Right? The whole Torah. Why was it Ekia? Why was it 3? Why was it 2 times? And what 21 times 21 is 441. Whatever. There's so many different things. I don't have the time to discuss everything. I got so many other things to do. Okay. Now, so after he accepts the mission. He accepts the mission. Right? Hashem says to him, okay, throw your stick. What do you have? What do you have in your hand? He said, I have a mata. Hashem says, throw the mata on the floor. It turned into a snake. Moshe Rabbeinu was scared. Torah says he was scared. Hey, wait, hold on a second now. Hold on. I just told you a minute ago that Moshe Rabbeinu wasn't scared of the lions. Lions that were surrounding the palace. He went up right to them, no problem. He wasn't scared of lions. He wasn't scared of all the shepherds. A little snake? A little snake he's scared of? What happened? We're going to discuss that. All right? Then Hashem says to him, put your hand in your jacket. Put your hand in your jacket. And what happens? It turns to tsaras. Turns to leprosy. Why leprosy? The Sfarim say, because Moshe Rabbeinu said that the Jewish people weren't going to listen to me. They won't listen to me. He spoke Lashon Hara about them. Not good, not good. And what's the Aveira of Lashon Hara? What does it bring? Tsaras. And that's why he had tsaras, okay? But he put his hand back in his jacket and then it turned back regular. All right, so now they're on their way. Hashem says, okay, go pack up and go down to Mitzrayim and go start your mission. So he packs up. The Torah says a strange thing. They came to a hotel, a malon. They came to a hotel on the way. And Moshe Rabbeinu was attacked. Rashi says he was attacked by a snake from head to toe. Wow, whoa. Moshe Rabbeinu is attacked. Zipporah takes a stone. She takes Eliezer, their son, and she makes a bris milah on him right then and there. The snake left Moshe Rabbeinu. Everything was saved. Zipporah saved Moshe Rabbeinu's life. Zipporah saved Moshe Rabbeinu's life. The Medrash says something very interesting about that. Before, we used to give a bris milah. We used to give a bris milah with a stone, like Zipporah said. When David HaMelech, later on, when David HaMelech comes to Goliath, he comes to Goliath and he's fighting Goliath. And he takes his 5 little stones and he throws his stone. So the metal said, hey, I'm not letting the stone through. He hit Goliath. And Malach said to the metal, listen, I'll tell you what. If you're misgaber on your tafkid in this world, and you let the stone through to get rid of this Russia Goliath Plishti, this monster Goliath, so then we'll change it and we'll make the bris milah will be through a metal knife. Did you know that? I don't know if anyone knew that. And since then, that time we were using stone. After that, we changed to metal, and not a we still use all the Mayalim. They use a metal knife. They use a metal razor. They have whatever they use. It's always made out of metal. That's one of the reasons why they're using metal. A side note. Okay, they get back. They get back to Mitzrayim, and Aaron runs out to greet them, and it says V'ra Aaron v'samach b'libay. He saw Moshe Rabbeinu and he was happy in his heart. He was happy in his heart, genuinely happy for Moshe. Even though Moshe Rabbeinu was gone for 60 years. He was gone for 60 years. He came after 60 years. He came back to Mitzrayim. After 60 years, he comes back to Mitzrayim. And Moshe Rabbeinu was there the whole time dealing with all of this stuff. He's dealing with all of the pain and the tzar that's going on in Mitzrayim. And Moshe Rabbeinu sees Aaron, sees him, he's happy in his heart that Hashem chose Moshe. You see the godless of Aaron. You see how great he was. You see how great he was. He didn't say, hey, little brother, I was holding down the fort this whole time. Hey, come on, what about me? No. Merav is samach b'liboy. Only Hashem knows that what's going on in somebody's heart. Only HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows what's going on in a Jewish person, in every heart for that matter. Okay, fine. And then Aaron says to Moshe Rabbeinu, hey, listen, who are these people? This is Tzipporah, my wife, and my 2 children. Hey. There's enough nonsense going on here in Mitzrayim. I don't think you should introduce these people here. I think you should send them back. Moshe Rabbeinu sends Tzipporah and Moshe Rabbeinu's boys back to Yisrael. Safe over there. It's safe over there. Why bring them into Mitzrayim? Again, they'll be enslaved. Why bring them into Mitzrayim? All right, so they get to Mitzrayim, and Parai and Moshe Rabbeinu goes over to Parai, like he tells him. He goes with Aaron, and he does the thing. He tells him that Hashem said that you have to let me go, the people go. And he said, who's Hashem? And then he said, it's Elekei Avram, Elekei Yitzchak, Elekei Yaakov. Oh. But Parai says, I don't know any Hashem. I don't know this God. So Moshe Rabbeinu says, okay, wait a second. He takes the snake, his stick, he throws it on the ground, it becomes a snake. Parai says, no problem. He takes his guys take their sticks, they throw it on the ground, they also turn into snakes. So Moshe Rabbeinu then puts his hand in his jacket, and he takes it out, and it's tsaras. Wow, they said, well, that's a good trick. That's a good trick. Okay, either way. After this happened, after their first meeting, Parai said to the Jewish people, he made a new gezerah. There was a new decree. What was the decree? I'm not going to give you any more bricks. You have to go make your own bricks. And you have to still have the same quota for the day. And Moshe Rabbeinu went to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and he said, Me'oz basi el Parai. He complained. Me'oz basi el Parai. From that time I went to Parai. They made the work even harder. And that's pretty much the parsha that we have this week. Okay, but now let's talk. We started off by talking about this idea that Shemot is the Sefer Sheni. Ve'ele Shemot. That means it's connected to the first book. Why? Did you ever ask yourself the question, why were we enslaved in Mitzrayim? Why were we enslaved in Mitzrayim to Parai? What did we do wrong? We talk about that in Haggadah. What did we do wrong? What did we do? We came down, 70 pure souls came down to Mitzrayim with Yaakov Avinu. Right? We had tremendous growth. There were 600,000 Jews born to Yaakov Avinu in the 17 years that he was there. What did we do? That we had to be punished? Why did we do it that we had to be punished for 210 years in Mitzrayim? Does anyone have an idea? What did we do? Did we do anything wrong? No? Okay, so let's go back. Well, how about this? The Shla Kodesh and the Arizal, the Holy Shla Kodesh lived in the time of the Arizal, and the Holy Shla Kodesh was giving Shiurim, and the Arizal used to go to the Shiurim of the Shla Kodesh. You believe that? Is that amazing? The Holy Arizal went to the Shiurim of the Shla Kodesh. Unbelievable. Could you imagine what going to listen to these tzaddikim and hear their words? Unbelievable. But listen to some of the words that they were talking about. And they're talking about like this. They're talking about this. Why were we punished? And the Shvatim were good people, and what was going on? So if you'll say, one answer is, I don't know, because we sold Yosef. We sold Yosef. So maybe because we sold Yosef, this is what we're getting. Can't be. Can't be that. Why? Because also Yosef and his children and Binyamin were included in this, and they weren't guilty of anything. They would, if anyone, Yosef was the crime was done to him. He didn't do anything. He didn't have nothing to do with it. He was the victim. Yosef was the victim. So it can't be that. And if you say they didn't keep the Torah, you can't say that either, because we didn't have the Torah yet. So then what did they do? What did they do? So listen to this. This is amazing. In Sefer Bamidbar, Moshe Rabbeinu describes Mitzrayim as the Kur HaBarzel. Mitzrayim is the Kur HaBarzel. What is Kur HaBarzel? It's a smelting pot for iron. Very, very hot flame, right? In other words, it's not for silver or for gold. Gold, you don't need such a hot flame, right? Gold, you need less heat than for silver. Silver needs less heat than for brass, for bronze, right? For brass, for copper. For copper, you make copper with nickel, you make brass, right? But iron needs the hottest flame. So why did we have to be why do we need this flame? What is this Korah Barzel? What is this? So says the Shloah Kadosh, because of Zuhama. We had to be purged. We had to be purified from the Zuhama. Let me ask you a question. Moshe Rabbeinu, and let's go back to Avram Avinu. Avram Avinu, when it came to the Bris Bein Absarim, right? When it came to the Bris Bein Absarim, when he made the halves, the treaty of the halves. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to Avram Avinu that you're going to be in a land that you don't know. And they're going to pain your children for 400 years. Avram Avinu doesn't say anything. He says, Amen. Hashem says to Avram Avinu, hey, Sodom, I'm going to destroy Sodom. Well, Hashem, maybe there's 50. Oh, no, maybe tzaddikim. Maybe there's 45 tzaddikim. Maybe there's 40, 30, 20, 10, or maybe there's 10. No. He destroys Sodom. But why is Avram Avinu quiet when his own children are going to be enslaved for 400 years? He's quiet. Where when it's for Rishayim, he's going to bat for them. So where did the Zuma come from? Right? We have to purify ourselves from Zuma. Where did Zuma come from? Well, it goes back to the first page in the Torah. The Eitz Hadas Tov Ra. What happened over there? The Nachash took the fruit. He bit into the fruit. He placed his zuama, his impurity, into the fruit. Hey, Chava, have a bite. Chava had a bite. She was infected. Adam takes a bite. He's infected with this zuama. It's not something physical. It's something spiritual. It's a spiritual impurity. Okay? Came along over the time. We're trying to purify ourselves from this. So we came back in the time of the flood, in the time of Noah. And there we were supposed to make a rectification from the Zuama. But it didn't work. We got drowned. We all drowned. Some didn't drown, some died before their drowning. That's why it says that Paro would drown the babies. Drown the babies. Why do you think he said to drown the babies? That was a tikkun from, it says that it's in the Sefer Gilgulim, for those people that were supposed to have drowned, but they died before they drowned, so therefore they had to get drowned. Okay, what happened what was the next event? The Dara Floga. They were building a tower. They were building a tower to wage war against Hashem. Hashem said, okay, you want to build a tower to wage war against me? You want to see how futile that was? Now you'll build in Mitzrayim buildings. They said it was on quicksand and it just sank in. They had to keep building and building and building and building. Nothing. Why were the babies put into the walls? They were cemented into the walls of the buildings. Why? Says the Arizal that those are the babies that died before that time with the Dara Floga, that didn't have a chance to die because of that. So therefore, they had to come and die in this case, in the construction. And that's why they had to die with the construction. Fascinating things, fascinating. Listen to this. Now I ask you another question. Why was it in Mitzrayim? Why specifically was Mitzrayim? Why specifically was it with the Offer? With the Paroi? Why Paroi? So how about this? Paroi, what was the punishment? What was the punishment of the Nachash? He had to eat Offer, right? Offer. How about Ha'offer? The dust that he had to eat is the same letters as Paro. Paro, Ha'offer, right? Pei Reish Ayin Hey. So you take the Hey, put it first, and then you have Ha'offer. The dust. Paro was a reincarnation of the Nachash. Of the Nachash. He's the Nachash. And that's why Paro thought he's being cruel to us. But he didn't realize. He was actually working for us. Paro was actually working for us. What was he doing? He was purifying us from all the impurity of the Nachash, the Zuhama. That's what Paro was in the middle of doing. Unbelievable to understand that. Goes along to say, why? Who was the Gilgal? Who was the Gilgal of Adam Arishon? Moshe Rabbeinu. Adam Arishon had inside of him 600,000 neshamas of Klal Yisrael. He had in the 600, because one will ask themselves, hey, listen, why am I being punished? Why am I being punished for something that Adam did, 5,685 years ago? Hey, what is this here? What did I do? What did I do? You were there. We were all there. And we didn't stop. None of us yelled loud enough to stop Adam from eating from that tree. And therefore, we're all held responsible. And we all have within us this zuama, this impurity. Now, Moshe, we know that Adam Arishon separated from his wife for 130 years. 130 years after they ate from the tree, Moshe Rabbeinu separated from his wife 130 years. Okay, the tikkun for that. Okay, and there was a lot of zera levatala, whatever there was a lot of things going on. There was a lot of destruction going on because he separated from his wife. We were in Mitzrayim for 210 years. How old was Moshe Rabbeinu when we left Mitzrayim? He was 80. So if you take 210 less 80, you have 130. That's the 130 years. For the 130 years that what's his name? That Adam left from Chava. Okay, now We can go on. Let's see here. We have many more things. We still have a little bit of time. We forgot to mention before the idea of Shifra and Pua. Shifra and Pua were the concubine. No, not what were they called? The what?
Midwives.
Midwives. Oh, thank you. They were the midwives. Paro gave them a new name of Shifra and Pua. Right? But really, well, who are they? They were Miriam and Yocheved. Miriam and Yocheved were Shifra and Pua. Paro gave them that name, that changed the names from them. Why? He wanted to weaken them. We know in Mitzrayim, one of the things we didn't do is we were not Mishana our names. We didn't change our names. Right? We did not change our names. We didn't change our clothing. We didn't change our language. Right? We spoke whatever language we spoke, Ivris, Hebrew, whatever language it was, that's what we were speaking. We spoke. We didn't change our names, right? We didn't become like the names of of the nations of the world. We had our Jewish names that we were given, right? And that's one of the things. And that's a very, 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 very important thing, to always have a Jewish name. The Sfarim say that a person should always be called by their Jewish name at least one time a day. At least one time a day, a Jewish person should be called by his name at least once a day. Okay. In the Parsha, we have these guys, Dasan and Aviram. So let's talk about them for a minute now. So Dasan and Aviram, we said that the whole idea was that they were those that wanted to do bad, and they were just rotten apples. They were literally rotten apples. But okay, either way, and we know that you see how the whole story, even though that they were so wicked, but you see how the whole story has to unfold. How HaKadosh Baruch Hu made everything happen exactly, the Hashgacha Pratis, that the Moshe Rabbeinu would go out that day, and that Mitzri would be there, and that Mitzri would be hitting that Jew, and of course, it all goes exactly the way it's supposed to be. Hashem does everything the way He's supposed to. Of course, but yet it caused Moshe Rabbeinu to have to leave. It caused Moshe Rabbeinu to have to leave, to go to Midian, to marry Tzipporah, to have his children, to meet Hashem out there with the burning snap. Because again, Hashem went to meet him inside of Mitzrayim. It was an Eretz Tomei. It was the Kor HaBarza. At least outside of Mitzrayim, Hashem was able to meet with Moshe Rabbeinu and make this deal. Okay? But it's a fascinating thing to understand. Really, all the things in the Parsha are something so remarkable. There's so many more things to say. How with Yaakov Avinu, I'll just give you one more thing. Yaakov Avinu, when he came with Lavan, right, and he had 600,000 sheep, right? He had 600,000 sheep. Again, those were the neshamas that came back again. Those were those neshamas that came back again. We were the same 600,000 that went out of Mitzrayim, right? That actually left Mitzrayim, right? There were 600,000 males that left Mitzrayim. That's not including the women and the children. Okay, there were millions, including the women and the children. Okay, but there were 600,000 source neshamas, right? In other words, we know that there are 600,000 source neshamas. There are many more than 600,000 neshamas because there are branches of neshamas. The same way when you have a tree has branches and it has leaves, right? So too a neshama can be considered the tree. And that's the main neshama, and then the sub neshamas that all come from that neshama. So there's so much interesting things going on. And now we understand why Shemot is called Shnaya Mikra Ve'echa Targum. Now we understand, and what's the significance of that? We understand the significance we learned about Shoivavim, Shemais, Va'era, Bo, Bishalach, Yisrael, Mishpatim. Right? These are the four. These are the sedrus of the idea of this of Shoivavim. These are the ideas of really that we always have to make sure to always do our part. And realize wherever you are serving Hashem, it's Admas Kodesh. It's Admas Kodesh. It's Holy Land. It's anywhere you are in the world. It doesn't matter. If you're serving Hashem, that's Admas Kodesh. And we can make anything holy. And that's our job, to make things holy in this world. And the same way Basya put out her hand, even though she thought, how am I going to reach it? That's the whole lesson. It doesn't matter what you can do. You just try to do. If you don't think you can do the whole Shnayim Mikveh V'Targum, start with the first pasuk. Read the pasuk 2 times. Read the Targum. The uncle is for the pasuk. Read that. This is not Shnayim Mikveh V'Targum is not a minhag Chasidus. It's not a minhag. It's actually found in the Gemara. Okay, it's not only is it found in, it's found in Shulchan Aruch. Let me tell you just one interesting thing. They asked Rav Moshe Feinstein, hey, Rav Moshe, do you do Shnayim Mikra V'Echad Targum? You have all your Siddharim in learning, and of course you know the Parsha, and of course you know everything. So Moshe Rabbeinu said like this. Rav Moshe said like this. He says, yes, he said that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was so involved and engrossed in his learning, Yomam V'Layla, he was exempt from Tefillah. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was exempt from Tefillah. But he still said Kriya Shema. They said that there were times that they saw that he put his hand over his eyes and he would say something. And he was saying Kriya Shema. So he said like this: if Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was exempt from tefillah, but he was learning, he also had to do Shnayim Mikveh V'Echad V'Targum. If I have to stop to daven and I have to do of course I have to do Shnayim Mikveh V'Echad Targum. Of course it's so important. All the tzaddikim talk about this. And why do all the tzaddikim talk about it? Because this is something that people feel that I'm wasting my time. What am I doing? I'm wasting my time. You're not wasting your time. You're not wasting your time at all. The Shnayim Mikveh V'Echad Targum is connected to the Chachma Bina Das. Chachma Bina Das of the mind. You have Chachma, which is the first time you read the pasuk. Das, Bina is the second time. The Targum is the Das. The Targum is the Das. Many people in life have a lot of information. And you see how many people, you see professors, you see these very educated people, but you see they do the most disgusting things. And they make the wrong thing because they don't have Das. And that's why we ask Hashem, Ata Chaynin L'Adam Das. And we ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu to give me Das, because if you have Das, you have everything. You have Emunah. And if you have Emunah, you have HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So this is the lesson that we have for this week. I did the best that I could in the time that we're allotted. Okay, does anyone have any questions, any comments, any disagreements with what I said? You have a question, Ernie? Go ahead. Go ahead, Ernie. Ernie, I can't hear you.
Muted. You have to unmute.